So the first question I want to ask you about your research is really around the content of what you research. So what's something that you learned that has changed your thinking or has really contributed to your, like, the academic or your intellectual self?
I can start. I think that one of the most interesting things that comes with a concept like this is just not being able to really define a moral definition because labor exploitation, it does have a negative connotation, but with something like digital labor for wiki websites, where people can contribute whatever information, but the businesses who might profit off of ad revenue might profit off of the consistent ad revenue that's being generated from these people creating multiple pages for free. There is no really any sort of moral lens to sort of apply that with. So being able to just see that it's really a morally ambiguous topic sort of sets that precedent as to how topics like these could apply in the future, because we're in a society that continues to advance technologically. So stuff like this should at least try to be set or defined before we move on, because it might lead to more further like moral or political consequences later on.
Mm-hmm. And can you imagine, Justin, before we go on, can you imagine further research on your topic that you'd be interested in doing? Is it something that is just sticks with you in terms of wanting to know more? And
I think I would have liked a bit more information as to like the particular website or business I was working with, Fandom Wiki. I'd like more information on them. I know it's like difficult to get that access on stuff like how much money they make or something, but I feel like getting that sort of insight would be able to further narrow down how this concept applies, and maybe being able to set a few more guidelines. It's probably impossible to get that sort of information provided that it's really private. But I think laying that information out for different businesses would be helpful in trying to set some guidelines.
okay. So same question, Erin or Emily.
Sure. Regarding my topic, um, part of it was like the main part of it was, or half about it was about sleep. So I learned that when I was coming up with my research, I was thinking like, oh, sleep and school is not really like looked into that much by others, and it's just like, oh, you have school, you don't get sleep, deal with it. Like it's a part of school, not having enough sleep or studying, like you have to study, so what can you do about it? And it opened my eye to that there is something you can do. It's just you have to look into it. Like there's always solutions to issues, it's just a matter of taking it into your hands and doing it. And regarding like if I were to expand my research project, since my research was only limited to about 16 students in high school, I think it would be interesting to see it apply to like adults and their jobs and daily life, and how their sleep could be affected as well.
And so there's still room for more studies on your topic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in terms of my research, because I was looking at ways to effectively represent students, I learned kind of about representation structures in general and how important it is to have inclusive and active structures available where people can actually legitimately contribute um, to whatever organization or school they belong to. And in terms of taking that research further, um, kind of going off of the theme of representation and being able to um, voice your opinion and having that right to be a part of the body that governs you. Something that I've kind of learned more about in college is the idea of human rights and how that affects governance and how governments can interact with other people to help raise their standard of living. And I think that's something that'll be really interesting to do when I become a junior, senior in college, being able to study maybe a more international aspect of politics and governance.
Mm. Wow, all three of you, you have so much to bring into the world and so much to offer to the world. That's just really, really intriguing to listen to you share your thinking and share your experience.